Hey guys, it's Amelia. 안녕하세요. 제 이름은 Amelia입니다. 근데 저는 저 장사 아니에요. I've been getting some questions about how I learned Korean, so I thought I would do a little video on how I study. I am in no way fluent in Korean yet, but I'm trying my best. This is what works for me. You definitely need to tailor your studying to yourself because everybody learns differently. So you want to learn Korean? Well, my first tip for you is to learn Hangul. Hangul is the Korean writing system. It is super easy to learn. You could probably learn it in about 2 hours. Super great. I learned Hangul through watching YouTube videos. There's some videos out there where they're just like, this is this noise. This is this noise, and then they just play it over and over again, and then you just keep watching it until you learn it. So simple though, guys, just do it. It's so easy. You got this. One of the main things that I do that I think really helps me is that I study every single day for at least 5 minutes. You could spare 5 minutes, whether it be in the shower, you have a conversation with yourself completely in Korean, or you journal at the end of the day and you just write some stuff down in Korean, or you're going for a walk and you're thinking about the weather and stuff, and you think in Korean or something like that. Or watching some songs or TV shows in Korean, or doing some quick flashcards. It's so simple to do just a little bit of Korean 5 minutes every day. Really, really helps for me. I also recommend watching Korean dramas. They are so entertaining. They are so good. They're sort of like a soap opera-y, and they have a bunch of different tropes, like it's always gonna rain, and there's always a love triangle, and there's always a car crash, and then they forget their memories, and there's historical dramas which are great, there's like fantasy ones with aliens, but then there's also like normal ones. There's just like so many out there, and they're all so good. I'm going to show you some of the ones that I really, really like right here. There's also a lot of K-dramas on Netflix now, which is super great, and Netflix is actually making their own K-dramas, super cool. And there's this Chrome extension that you could get that puts up translations for you. Now you may say, Netflix already has translations, Amelia, and that is correct. However, you could have the Korean and the English subtitles on your videos at the same time. Super great. I'll put a link for all the things I described in this video down below, don't worry. Watching K-dramas is great because it's fun, but you're also learning while you're doing it. Like, you'll pick up a lot of phrases while you're watching them. Let me point out that this is fictional K-drama stuff, so people don't actually throw water at people or say certain phrases, so don't take K-dramas as like your only way to learn Korean, because that's not how people talk naturally all the time. Just need to point that out. I know a lot of people suggest while you watch the K-drama to write down every single word that you don't understand, and then afterward translate that and just like keep watching the video. You could do that if you want. I think that is so extremely frustrating for me because there's so many words that I don't know. Even though I do know a good amount of Korean already, it makes me so frustrated because there's so many words out there that I don't know. So you could definitely try that if you want, but I suggest just watching with both subtitles. And then if there's a word that you think is interesting or like really like catches your ear, then just write it down and try to use it more that week. I also suggest listening to Korean music. Of course, this is helpful because they're singing in Korean. Also with Korean music though, sometimes the way they phrase things is not exactly natural, as in most American pop songs, you hear the music and sometimes the lyrics you're like, that's a little weird the way they said that. So consider that when you're listening to Korean music. However, you could also translate and pick up words through Korean music, which I think is super helpful because then you can just listen to BTS, your boys, and learn some Korean, you know? Bogo 싶다, I miss you, I want to see you. More on that, BTS is very motivating for a lot of people, I feel like. They've also recently released their show for free on Weverse called Learn Korean with BTS. So Learn Korean with BTS is like alright. They teach you a new phrase or thing every week. They're not really teaching grammar yet, which, I mean, they've only posted about 15 or so episodes so far. I've reacted to all of those if you would like to watch that. But you can learn Korean with BTS because they have so much content out there. They have books, they have music, they have TV shows, they have their Run BTS, they got their Bon Voyage, they've been on a couple variety shows. They have so much out there. Just watch it. I actually really liked watching the BTS runs and the Bon Voyage because it's very natural how they're interacting and speaking Korean. Is just like they're just chatting with friends. It's not scripted or anything, so it's more of a natural Korean. So you could really learn some useful phrases from that and also grammar structures and patterns. So sometimes I'll watch a Run BTS episode in Korean with subtitles in English, and then I will watch it again in Korean with subtitles in Korean, and then I will try to watch it just in Korean with no subtitles and try to understand as much as you can, because after you've seen it once you already sort of know what's going to happen, and then you could sort of pick up the words and the phrases that they're saying based on what you know they're saying. So my main thing that I use to learn Korean is talktomeinkorean.com, which is such a great resource. We love Hyunwoo 선생님. He is so great. He is the creator of Talk to Me in Korean. There is a YouTube channel, there is a website, there is physical books you could buy, there's podcasts, there's so much stuff out there, and a lot of it is free, which is great. You can buy the books if you want to, you can buy the podcast things if you want to, but most of this content is free. He has a YouTube channel that's dedicated to speaking 100% in Korean. That's for more advanced learners. But then he also has one that's just for beginners and intermediate level, where he posts videos every week. He'll post live classes where you could type and interact with him and ask him your questions. But he also posts like little clips of like, what would you do in this situation? What would you say in Korean? His stuff is honestly so good. I cannot recommend it enough. That's mostly what I use to learn Korean. His website is my favorite because it has a bunch of different levels for you, and then you just take a test to start off to see where you're at, and they'll immediately be like, okay, you're in level 1 or you're in level 3 or whatever you're in. I think right now they're up to level 9, which I think is like a medium advanced level, I think. But each level has broken down into like 23 or so lessons, which you could buy a book and an activity book to do all those, or you could do it completely online. There's a podcast you could listen to, there's a little transcript of the podcast, and then there's a little write-up explaining the grammar point that they're talking about in each lesson. There's also a PDF worksheet, I think, but you might have to pay for that, I don't really know. But that's what I mostly use, and honestly, it is so good. I cannot express enough. Please use Talk to Me in Korean. Use it. It's so helpful. I recommend getting a notebook that you can keep notes in. Just write down anything that you think sounds interesting, something that you think is very useful, or like words you want to look up later. I take all my notes from Talk to Me in Korean in here. I also have this weird collection of things with Korean writing on them so that I could practice. I have things like this little packet that came in one of my ramen. It's like that little thing that keeps your food fresh. It says 먹지 마세요, which means don't eat. I have a postal service box thing. I've got a newspaper. I have the map to the Met, but it's all in Korean. So I'm just picking up literally anything that I find that's free and in Korean. I think I also have some like realtors papers in here, but they're in Korean, so I took one. Just a few other resources that I use. I really like this website called Memrise. It's also an app. It is for memorizing flashcard things. And so there's a whole bunch of different things on there already, but if you want, you could create your own little flashcards. I just really like the way it's built. It's sort of like a community aspect. So you could find Talk to Me in Korean books on there, or any Korean book that you're studying with at school or something like that. And it'll be on there already with all the flashcards. And if you don't know how to memorize a word and you're just really not getting it, there's a little option at the bottom and you could click it and it'll give you ways other people remember it. Like they'll be like, oh, this looks like a shoe, so it's pronounced like shoe, or something like that. Do you know? On a side note, I think my biggest tip when learning language is to immerse yourself as much as you can. I know that's really hard to do if you're not in Korea, but it's really important to try to immerse yourself as much as you can. I had a program in my college that would connect you with international students, and the international students were trying to learn English and also get accustomed to American life, and I was interested in learning Korean, so I was able to be paired up with Korean foreign exchange students, which was super cool. So now I have a handful of Korean friends who I could just chat Korean with, and then they are learning English from me, and I'm also showing them great American culture like milkshakes and Cheez-Its. Another thing that I think is really important is that when you're learning new words, you shouldn't just be memorizing the words, you should be learning them and associating the word with the object rather than the translation of the object. For example, this is a book, right? So in English you see this and you're like, book, that's a book. So instead of thinking, oh, check means book, you should look at this and think, check. Do you know what I'm saying? Because instead, if you're looking at this and thinking book, and then book equals check, it's a longer process, where if you're just looking at this and knowing that it's check, then you're learning Korean better, or whatever language. Similarly, there's a whole bunch of root words in Korean. For example, desk is called cheksang, which is like book. I don't know what song means, but check is book. You put books on your desk, it's related, so that's why cheksang. That was sort of a bad example. Another root word is 실, which means room. So like all room words have 실 on the end. So there's 화장실, which means bathroom. There's 교실, which means classroom. 연습실, which means practice room. So it's all sort of related. So it's really helpful to learn those like root words in Korean. I just wanted to mention a couple more apps that I don't really use anymore, but were still really useful back when I was just learning. There's this website called Lang8. It's this website where you could put in like a paragraph of your writing in a language, and then someone from that country will correct it for you, and you do it vice versa. This was also super useful when I was still in high school learning languages and you had to write something for your language class, because then you could just copy and paste whatever you're writing onto this website and a natural native speaker will correct it for you. It's pretty great. I also used this one chatting app at one point called Hello Talk. I want to describe it as like a dating app for making friends to speak other languages. It is sort of weird. It's just like you're just chatting with strangers essentially. It just pairs you up with people who speak the language you want to speak, who want to speak your language. Does that make sense? Some of the conversations were really nice and casual and great, and you're both learning languages. And then of course there's always some creepy weird people out there who are like, hey, and you're like, no. But most of the time it was great for learning languages because you're just chatting with a new person, you get to talk about whatever you want, and you can practice your language. Talk to Me in Korean also has a Discord channel now, so you could talk with people in Korean who are also trying to learn at all different levels, which is really cool. Also, a classic, Kakao Talk. It's like the iMessage, the WhatsApp of Korea. Everybody uses Kakao Talk to chat. I recommend downloading it. It's got really cute stickers. If you make any Korean friends, you could chat with them there. Grammar-wise, I mostly learn all my grammar from Talk to Me in Korean. That's just how I do it. I will read the grammar lesson and then just practice that as much as I can. I try to keep myself on a sort of schedule, so like each week I'll focus on doing one thing and just keep learning that one thing the whole week, and maybe by the end of the week I'll have learned it. Another good tactic that I've seen other people using is learning vocabulary in chunks by week. So you pick a room in your house and you try to learn all the words to describe everything in that room in 1 week. So all week I'll just sit here in my room and focus on trying to learn how to say everything I have in my room. And then that's a great way to build your vocabulary, because it's obviously things that you're coming into contact and using, and then now you know how to say it in Korean. 봐주셔서 감사합니다. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye!